Nṛsiṁha Bhagavan ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you for inviting me today to this class. I feel totally unfit to talk about Lord Nṛsiṁha, but because we have this source of knowledge from the Shastras and Acharyas, so we can just repeat what they say. I wanted to talk about Lord Krishna's forms, different his rupas, his different swarupas, based on the teachings of Lord Chaitanya to Sanatana Goswami in the 20th chapter of Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, as well as a book called Laghu Bhāgavatāmṛta by Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī. Lord Chaitanya instructed Sanatana Goswami, among others, about very confidential knowledge about Krishna, or of course about devotional service and so on. Especially there are like 2 chapters talking only about, one chapter at least, which is huge, talks about Krishna's forms. The whole chapter is dedicated, chapter 20. Then Goswami's task was to write down about Krishna, give us literature. Give us the essence of all Vedic knowledge. They had to, in Vedic literature, there are so many different parts and, departments of knowledge and fields of knowledge and everything. But they had to give us the cream, the essence of everything, which is devotional service, which is pure bhakti. And because it was like, in Vedic literature, it's not so easy for common people to understand, what is the essence of everything. That's why sages in Naimisharanya ask Sudha Goswami, please tell us, you studied all the Shastras, please tell us what's the essence of it. What is the meaning of all the Shastras? It's not so easy, actually. What shall I say? If you work with some, vast body of knowledge, it's just hard to find out where it starts, when it ends, whatever. So when you have an expert person, you can get so much knowledge from him because he knows all this literature. So Rupa, Sanatan, and all the other Goswamis and great acharyas in Vaishnava line, they would give us the essence. Well, Sanatana Goswami wrote many books, of course, but one of them is called Brihad Bhāgavatāmṛta, which is, Brihad means big, Bhagavat means Bhagavan, Amrita means nectar, which talks about, different forms of Krishna and finally the supremacy of Krishna among all the forms, like the origin of all and most attractive of all. So Rupa Goswami, his younger brother, he writes a book called Laghu Bhāgavatāmṛta. Laghu means little, a little one. It's just just explanation of Brihad Bhāgavatāmṛta. And this book was translated by our dear Gopiparanand Prabhu, who passed away. Unfortunately, he was a Sanskrit scholar and a great devotee, of course. It was he who, finished translation with Sriranda Maharaj, 10th, 11th, and 12 cantos. Plus, he translated different books and established a very nice, wonderful Sanskrit school in Vṛndāvana. I knew him very well, very personally, actually. We lived together in the same ashrams a few years together, so I had this great association with him. Anyway, BBT published this wonderful book called Laghu Bhāgavatāmṛta. Actually, Śrīla Baladev Vidyabhūshana, he writes comments on this book, on Laghu Bhāgavatāmṛta. And he explains it even more. This is total nectar. I'm so happy and fortunate that I actually attend a class, a remote class from India by my Sanskrit teacher. He's a devotee. He's an Indian, wonderful. And he has a group of, I think we are 4. One person from Śrī Sampradaya. He's actually an Ayurvedic doctor. He lives in the States. and he's very much into this Vaishnavism. He attends, I attend, and there one guy from Gaudiya Sampradaya, I don't know which one, which branch or whatever, I don't know. We don't talk so much. But, this Sanskrit teacher, he goes through, the whole thing, whole Bhagavatāmṛta with the commentaries of, by Baldev Vidyabhushan. This is total nectar, total nectar. I actually shared once this information on our WhatsApp. But anyway, this is, I'm very inspired of this thing, of these books, of those books. Anyway, so I want to talk about forms of Lord Krishna, because today is the appearance of one of his very important form, Nṛsiṁha Bhagavan. So let's come to understanding what's, who's Bhagavan, who's Bhagavan in general, what kind of forms Krishna has, and what is Nṛsiṁhadeva. Yes. So I take some shlokas from, without purport, from Chaitanya Charitamrita, and then we go to Laghu Bhāgavatāmṛta. So, well, it's a huge chapter. It's about 400 verses, so that's a lot. So idea is that Krishna's form, Krishna is not formless. He is a form. He's a person. He has a form. He has a absolutely transcendental form. Has nothing to do with material energy. Krishna is not only, even though he's one, he can manifest himself in unlimited forms. That's the idea. Let's see what kind of forms he has. He has three main forms. Swayam Rūpa, it's called, first one. Then Tadekatma Rūpa and Aveshas. Swayam Rūpa means his own form. It's just Krishna. It's Nanda Nandana. It's the son of Nanda. It's him, this little boy who resides in Vṛndāvana. Swayam Rūpa means that this form is not dependent on any other forms. He is the totally independent form of all others. But then this form can expand into unlimited number of forms. And basically they are called Tadekatmas, Tadekatma Rupas. Tadekatma means that they are all as or almost as powerful as him, but they may exhibit different features, different emotions, different forms. If we go back to Swayam Rūpa, Krishna himself, he can manifest himself, for example, he marries 16,108 queens on all these forms, and he's different. He's present with every one of them. And these kind of forms, these are his prakasha form, Vaibhava Prakashas. His own, you can make some mistakes sometimes because it's quite complicated. But anyway, he himself manifests. It's him. It's still him. It's still Krishna. Or when he dances rasa dance, he's with each and every gopi, personally with them. So these are his personal forms. They are not different from Krishna. But then Tadekatma forms are slightly different. Maybe they don't have as much power as Krishna. For example, first one is Balaram. Balaram is almost as good as Krishna. There is basically no difference. But he's white, Krishna is black. He dresses differently than Krishna. So his first Tadekatma Rupa is Balaram. Then comes all these Vyuha forms. Vyuha forms are four, basically, Chatur Vyuhas. Vasudev, Sankarshan, Balaram, Padumna, and Aniruddha. These are four-armed forms which, are the source of all other incarnations and expansions of Krishna, both in the spiritual and material worlds. Well, definitely these four-armed forms are different from Krishna, but they are basically as powerful. The explanation is given by Lord Brahma. Diparchi Eva Nivasati. Well, it's called that, he says that just like one candle can light up unlimited number of candles. So Krishna can give, and all the candles have the same power of light. Basically, there's no difference. So Krishna's forms are as powerful, but still Krishna is the original one, and he has some special characteristics which only he has. So anyway, so then comes all the Purusha avatars, then comes all kinds of avatars. We always talk of Purusha avatars as the first ones. Purusha avatars, these three Vishnus, which are Mahavishnu, Garpataka Vishnu, Kshodakashaya Vishnu, to manifest this material world. Then we have Lila avatars. I mean, Krishna comes in forms of different incarnations in this world. Unlimited in number, of course, but we have like 33 different known in Bhagavatam, I think, 33. Just like in Matsya avatar, fish avatar, Kurma, tortoise, Varaha, which is boar, and Nṛsiṁhadeva, and Vaman, and so on and so forth. Then we have Manvantara avatars, Manus. In one day of Brahma, there are 14 Manvantaras, 14 cycles of Manu, 14 Manus. So there are, during the lifetime of Brahma, there is 500,000 of Manvantaras. 500,000 of Manvantaras are coming, and just unbelievable. Their role is to, kill the demons of Indra. That's how they are described. I mean, they have to support, order in this world, help the demigods, and defend them from the asuras, demons. So, and then, yes, these are Lila avatars, and then Manvantara avatars. Then we have Yuga avatars, because Yuga avatars, they are also Lila avatars, kind of, but they have specific purpose. They have to come and bring Yuga Dharma, specific method for this Yuga. And they have different colors, white, red, green, and yellow in Kali Yuga. So, or sometimes it's described there is no Yuga avatar in Kali Yuga. But let's not talk about this now. This is about Lord Chaitanya. So these are Yuga avatars. Then Aveshas. Avesha means actually to enter. To give some power into something. There are two kinds of Avesha avatars, like empowered incarnations, empowered forms. Krishna may choose a specific living entity and give him the power, specific power, to his own power, to a specific purpose. Just like Kumaras are his knowledge, empowered by his knowledge. Narad Muni by bhakti, Prithu by ruling power, Parashuram by curbing the demons and rascals, and so on. But then you have another kinds of Aveshas called Vibhutis. Vibhutis are not directly empowered by Krishna, but indirectly. And about Vibhutis we can read in the 10th canto of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna talks about his different his splendors and his wonderful manifestations, just like spring among the seasons. I'm spring, among the stars I'm this, and among this, and among Brihaspati I'm about this from the teachers, and among men I'm the king, and I don't know, just whole chapter. But then he says, what's the use? Because I'm so powerful. My power is exhibited in so many ways, so I cannot describe them all anyway. So these are different forms, different avatars. And actually, if you take the whole Laghu Bhāgavatāmṛta, there are chapters dedicated to different incarnations, and listing and giving even information, when they appeared, which Manvantara, For us, I mean, okay, we can easily get lost. I mean, this Chakshusha Manvantara, or it's like such a huge time span that we cannot really follow. But I mean, Rupa Gosvāmī describes all these things. Then he describes, for example, Varaha avatar is not only one. Some Varahas are white, and another is red, and in one incarnation, he kills the demon Hiranyaksha. In another one, he lifts up the earth from and protects Bhumi, the earth, and so on. I mean, it's just a lot of information, at least. So there are like chapters dedicated to this. Then there is a chapter, I think it's the 5th chapter, Laghu Bhāgavatāmṛta, which is dedicated to special forms of Krishna called parāvastha-rūpas. Oh, now we come to these very, very exciting things. So, what is the definition of Krishna, of God, Bhagavan? This is given in Vishnu Purana by Parashara Muni, father of Śrīla Vyasadeva. So I hope I can remember this verse. Aishvarasya samagrasya Viryasya yashasa shriya Jnana vairagyayo chaiva shana paga itingana. So 6 things. Aishwaryasya. Well, one thing first. Samagrasya. This is a kind of adjective to all these 6 things. Samagrasya means in full. So one who possesses 6 bhagas. Bhaga means like opulences, just something great, some great powers, great qualities, in full. On these 6 bhagas are Aishwarya, I mean the power to rule over everything, controlling power over everything. Aishwaryasya samagrasya. Viryasya. Virya means strength. Viryasya. Yasha means glory. I mean, he's so glorious. Shriya. Shriya means beauty. Jnana means knowledge. And vairagya means detachment. See here, he has all these wonderful qualities, but he's totally detached from them. He's not attached to any of this. This is Bhagavan. This is God. This is God. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was asked about, like Allah and what's the difference between Allah and Krishna. He says, Allah means the greatest. This is just one aspect of God. This is Bhagavan. He has everything. This is the real description. It's nice. Allah is great. It's part of Krishna. It's just part of Krishna. It's not the full Krishna manifestation anyway. So these qualities, Bhagavan's qualities, are displayed in different degrees by different incarnations, in avatars and forms and so on and so forth. But there are 3 forms which are called parāvastha-rūpas, most full, perfect, complete forms. Lord Nṛsiṁha, Lord Ramachandra, and Krishna. These 3 forms, yes. These 3 forms are called parāvastha. These 3 forms are called, the most, in that order of increasing power or strength, whatever we can call it. Nṛsiṁhadeva, Ramachandra, and Krishna. So these 2 are these 3 are the most complete manifestations of Bhagavan. So today is the day for Lord Nṛsiṁha's appearance. I don't go too much into history. I think we should just read maybe a little bit from Laghu Bhāgavatāmṛta. So I didn't really read anything from Chaitanya Charitamrita, actually, somehow or other, but all I said was actually more or less based on Chaitanya Charitamrita. So it's text 16. I read the Sanskrit because this is so beautiful. Nṛsiṁha Ramakrishna Shu Shadgunyam Paripuritam Parāvastha-rūpa Tasya Dīpad Utpana Dīpa Vat. Now, the parāvastha forms, according to Padma Puran, Uttarkanda, Nṛsiṁha, Ramachandra, and Krishna are complete in all 6 qualities. They are parāvastha forms of the Supreme Lord, like lamps lit from another lamp. The perfections of Godhead, this is purport, a commentary by Gopiparantan Prabhu. The perfections of Godhead are exhibited to different degrees by the various expansions of Krishna, who alone fully exhibits all 6 categories of perfections. The 3 most glorious forms of the Supreme Person are designated in Vedic text as parāvastha, most perfect. The Lord exhibits his perfection in progressively greater completeness as Nrisimha, as Ramachandra, and finally in his ultimate form as Krishna. Text 17. Prahlada hridaya hladam bhakta vidya vidaranam shararindu ruchim vande parindra vadanam harim. Of these 3, Sri Nrisimha is praised as follows. I offer my homage to Lord Hari, who has the face of a lion. He delights Prahlad's heart and tears apart his devotees' ignorance. His luster is like that of the autumn moon. Text 18. Vagisha yasya vadane lakshmi yasya chavakshasi yasyante hridaya samvitam Nrisimha maham bhaje. The goddess of speech resides in his mouth, and goddess Lakshmi on his chest. Complete knowledge resides in his heart. I worship that Lord Nṛsiṁha. The power having complete knowledge of everything that exists resides in the heart of Lord Nṛsiṁha. This and the previous verse are from Sridhar Swami's commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1. Text 19. Gambhira garjita rambha stampidam bhoja sambhava samrambha stampha putrasya murino jarimpito nripe. As soon as Lord Nṛsiṁha began his deep roar, lotus-born Brahma became stunned. Thus the sage disclosed it to the king, the fairy of the Lord who was born from the pillar. This is a very nice name of Lord Nṛsiṁha, Stampha Putra. Stampa means the pillar. Putra means the son. He is called the son of the pillar because he appeared from the pillar. He's a son of pillar. Total humor. I mean, Krishna possesses. He can do some wonderful things. The sage describing Lord Nṛsiṁha's appearance was Narada, and he was speaking to King Yudhishthira. All 3 of the verses were composed by Sridhar Swami. Text 20. Shatavatuta jalada prapata parapatam graha shatadrishi vimushtarochisa ambodhaya shvasahata bichukshupir nirhradapir digipha juhurdisha. This is not very clear copy, that's why I'm just sometimes not easy to read. As described in the 7th canto, the hair of Lord Nṛsiṁha's head shook the clouds and scattered them here and there. I mean, his mane, he has the mane, I mean, because his head is a lion head. So when he shook his head, I mean, all the clouds just were shattered. His glaring eyes stole the effulgence of the luminaries in the sky. In this verse, it's luminaries, it means actually all the planets, I mean, all the astrological signs, everything was just shattered. And his breathing agitated the oceans. Because of his roaring, the elephants guarding the directions abandoned their posts. Dig means different, 4 directions, and there are elephants standing there. When they heard his roar, they just ran away. This is from Bhagavatam 7:8-32. Text 21. Tu yaus tat satsatok shipta vimana sankula Hare Krishna. Pratsarpatak kshmacha pada pipidita shaila samut petura musharam hasa tateja sakham gagupo nare jire. Airplanes were thrown into outer space and the upper planetary system by the hair of Lord Nṛsiṁha's head. Because of the pressure of the Lord's lotus feet, the earth appeared to slip from its position. You know, it just almost, Pumi almost just lost her orbit. Just because Lord Nṛsiṁha was tramping on the earth, and he was just totally furious. While hills and mountains sprang up due to his intolerable force. Because of the Lord's bodily effulgence, both the sky and all directions diminished in their natural illumination. Such were the effects of Lord Nṛsiṁha's fury when he was intent on killing the demon Hiranyakashipu. Ugro pyanugra eva yam svabhaktanam drikeshari keshari vasvapuranam anyesham ugra vigraha. So in these verses, you know, he's described as totally furious, and everything and everybody is afraid of him. But look at this verse now. Although Lord Nrikeshari means actually lioness. Nrikeshari means, I mean, half lion, half man. Of course, Nṛsiṁha's name, but instead of just male lion, you know, it's used purposefully as a female lion, yeah. Although Lord Nrikeshari is very ferocious, he's not at all ferocious to his devotees. With them, he behaves like a female lion with her cubs. But for others, his form is very terrible. Everyone is afraid of him, but not the devotees. Just like the lioness, everyone is afraid of her. It might seem impossible to approach the fearsome form of Lord Nṛsiṁha to offer personal service. As stated above, however, his otherwise scorching presence is like cool, soothing moonshine for his devotees. Yeah. This is from Siddhartha Swami's commentary on Bhagavatam. Asya, next verse. Asya Shri Divya Simhasya Paramananda Tundila Shriman Nṛsiṁhadeva Mahima Prakati Krita. The all blissful glories of his divine lion, of this divine lion incarnation, are revealed in the venerable Nṛsiṁha Upanishad. Those who want to know more about the glories of Sri Nṛsiṁha that qualify him as one of the three parāvastha avatar forms of Supreme Lord can consult the Nṛsiṁha Upanishad. Nṛsiṁhasya bhavedvaso janeloke mahatmana sarvoparishtash chadatha vishnu loke parikrita. The Supreme Soul, Nṛsiṁhadeva, is said to reside on Janalok and on Vishnulok, beyond the material universe. So he resides both in the spiritual world, also on Janaloka in this world. This is not, I mean, his residence is not material at all. I mean, it's nothing like that. Just like here, Gaura-Nitāya reside here, as if it's a material building. No, it's a spiritual world, because it's a mandir, it's Gaura-Nitāya mandir. In Laghu Bhāgavatāmṛta, when Krishna is described in his different forms, as I said, it's also mentioned when they appear. As good as we can understand, at least some information at least is given. It's not like history book when you have this king was born there, and I mean like huge books. No, it's not like that. It's just very little information. And also where they live, where they reside, is also mentioned, at least some of them. So here we can hear that Lord Nṛsiṁha resides on Janaloka, as well as in Vaikuntha. So Lord Nṛsiṁha has different forms as well. It's not just in his only one form. It's called vilasa forms, actually. Vilasa means like different moods. He depend, just like the most fearful form is called Ugra Nṛsiṁha. No jokes with him. I mean, totally ferocious, because he's so angry about, his devotee Prahlad was, they tried to harm him. He was just nobody can describe his anger. So, but then is another form as well. For example, Lakshmi Nṛsiṁha is different. Jai Nṛsiṁha Shri Nṛsiṁha Jai Jai Nṛsiṁhadeva Praladesha Jai Padma. Padma is actually Lakshmi in this. It's not Padma. It's not like food as a lotus fish. It's Padma, means actually goddess of fortune. Mukha Padma Pringo. Padma, goddess of fortune, resides on his chest, and he always beholds his like moonlight face or something. I don't remember exact translation now, but this is the word. This is the meaning of this word. This is now Lakshmi Nṛsiṁha. This is another vilasa form in another mood. He's maybe less furious there. So yes. I think was our wonderful devotees, twin brothers in Mayapur, Pangajankri Prabhu. He was talking about, those who served Lord Nṛsiṁha. He was talking about how it was made. How the deity of Nṛsiṁha was carved. And just wonderful story. Unfortunately, I forgot. If you remember, please help me. It was like, this guy was like the one who made this. He was telling them, please take him away, because all kinds of strange things happen. He's just so angry. He was in trouble all the time, but please take him. I cannot help him anymore. Sorry?
What happened was
yeah?
they finished carving.
Yeah? Yes.
And there was a thunderbolt struck. The whole workshop burned down.
Yeah, I know.
They came the next morning, and there was Nṛsiṁhadeva, the ferocious Nṛsiṁhadeva who worshipped in Mayapur. He was standing there in the middle of the ashes. And then he phoned the devotees.
Yeah.
Please come.
I couldn't help him anymore. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Nṛsiṁhadeva. Yes?
There was also this story about they were attacked in Mayapur by
Yeah. Yes.
and for that reason, the devotees they wanted to install the Nṛsiṁha. And then they were approaching this. The man who, what was it called?
Stapati.
Huh?
Stapati is called a Stapati.
Yeah, in South India. So when the devotees approached this artist, he became very afraid because they were asking for Nṛsiṁha. And he said that is not possible. That cannot be done. But then he was asking. He had a guru, and this guru he was also saying, no, this is not possible. You cannot carve this deity and install here on earth. But then the guru had a dream where he was told that it was okay. So he came to the artist and said he could do it. And then he decided to do it with great trepidation.
Wonderful story. Thank you for sharing.
Normally not worship, but the conclusion was that in Mayapur they can worship because the main deity in Mayapur is Lord Chaitanya. And whoever is worshipped there, besides what they take on the mood of so ferocious, but in Mayapur he can be.
Wonderful. Yes, wonderful stories. There are so many. I have problems with my memories. I listened actually a lot of talks by Janivas and Pangajankri Prabhus, and there were so many wonderful stories, but just maybe if you remember, please come up with those. So, Let's read some more. Now we jump to a totally different place. It's still the same book. Bhavanti purusha loke madbhaktastvam anuvrata bhavan me khalu bhaktanam sarvesham pratirupadrik. In the same part of the Bhagavatam, 7:10 and 21, Sri Nṛsiṁha says, those who follow your example will naturally become our pure devotees. You are the best example of my devotee, and others should follow in your footsteps. The word pratirupa can mean both example and equivalent. If we take the meaning equivalent, then the implication is that if Prahlad is on one side of a scale and all of Lord Vishnu's other devotees on the other side, the scale will perfectly balance. Just one Prahlad Maharaj is just so great. Yeah. Yes. Lord Nṛsiṁha loves him so much. Then there are actually very interesting things, because even though Lord Nṛsiṁha or Lord Rāma killed the demons like Ravana or Hiranyakashipu, they don't achieve liberation. Only if they are killed by Krishna. Let me read. Parashar Muni again is asked, and he answered. Parashar answered, to kill the king of the demons, he who is the creator, maintainer, and destroyer of all the worlds, revealed his unparalleled form on Nṛsiṁha. At the time, Hiranyakashipu didn't realize that Nṛsiṁha was Vishnu. Thinking that this powerful being had accumulated heaps of extremely pious credits, Hiranyakashipu focused his attention on him under the strong impulsion of the mode of passion. By concentrating his mind on the Lord in this way, while the Lord killed him in his next life as 10-headed Ravana, Hiranyakashipu was only given facilities for material enjoyment that are unequaled in the three worlds. Just because he was concentrating on Vishnu. But he didn't know he was Vishnu. I mean, he didn't know Krishna, who was Nṛsiṁhadeva. He was just totally amazed and, astonished, looking at him. Who is this being? I mean, who is that? So when he was killed, because of this piety, he was given, he was born as Ravana, and he was having so much power that nobody else had. So, commentary. Lord Nṛsiṁha is essentially the same person as Sri Krishna. They are not different in swarup or identity, but rather in guna or manifest qualities. When a Vaidurya stone changes color, it manifests a quality it already contains within itself. In a similar way, when the personality of God had wanted to free the universe from the threat of Hiranyakashipu, he manifested his form as Nṛsiṁha. But if Lord Nṛsiṁha is none other than Krishna himself, why was Hiranyakashipu not liberated when killed by him? Parashar Muni will explain that when Lord Krishna kills a demon, he insinuates himself into the heart of that particular soul by the charm of his personality, names, and other attractive qualities. Lord Nṛsiṁha, however, does not exert this liberating, all-attracting influence on the fallen jivas who encounter him. Then what was Hiranyakashipu's awareness regarding the Lord in his form of Nṛsiṁha? He saw him as a powerful living being like himself, endowed with extraordinary qualities. Why? Because the strong influence of the mode of passion always distorts understanding. Nevertheless, in spite of his bewildered condition, by intensely focusing his attention on his amazing man lion, who would kill him with his own hands, Hiranyakashipu gained in his next life wealth and power beyond the reach of the demigods. Because of Hiranyakashipu's bewilderment, his mind did not actually take shelter of and unite with the personality of Godhead, the supreme absolute truth, without beginning or end. Before one's mind can fully enter the transcendental shelter, one must become convinced that he is the absolute truth. Or the mind may enter a similar state if one becomes extremely hateful toward him. Hiranyakashipu, king of the demons, had neither of these prerequisites, and so did not merge his mind fully in Lord Nṛsiṁha. Thus, without accepting the personality of Godhead as the exclusive resort of his mind, he could not attain liberation. Then in his next life as Rāvana, under the sway of Cupid, he became obsessed with Janaki. Thus, although he saw the Lord in his form as the son of Dasharatha, he failed to become spiritually attracted to him or to realize, here is the infallible Lord. Instead, he conceived of him as an ordinary human, and again he obtained diminished results from dying as Lord Achyuta's hands. He next took birth as Shishupal in the glorious world-renowned family of the kings of Chedi and enjoyed unimpeded power. Yes. Well, it is actually said that if you, when we die, when devotee dies, sometimes even if he's not, it's actually I read it by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, written by him. And if devotee sometimes, cannot remember Krishna due to illness or or disturbed condition at the time of death, Lord Chaitanya or Lord Krishna enters your mind and purifies you from inside so you can remember. This is so important, have a right state of mind. It's not just mercy, mercy, mercy thing. That's what we should train. Kirtaniya Sada Hari. Chant Hare Krishna 24 hours a day. If you achieve that, there is no problem. But this is very important. I mean, we should not be complacent. We should chant Hare Krishna all the time. This is a very important training. We have this very, very rare form of life. I mean, human form of life. Not just human form of life. We sit here. I mean, we talk about Krishna. We chant Krishna's name. We see the deities. We associate with devotees. So it's important we take full advantage of it, at least as much as possible. So maybe I would also say something like, realizing the absolute truth, or how we worshiping. Like it is said, actually, Sri Vaishnava said this. There is Archa, there is Antaryami, there are Vilasas or Lila Avatar, Vilasas as they are called. There are Vyuhas, and there is Paratattva. Paratattva is the absolute truth. It's Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachit Ananda Vigraha. If you ask Sri Vaishnavas, they say, this is Narayan, Paratattva. The first form is Narayan. This is what they say. For us, totally, for me, deities. This is the only thing I can see. I can see Krishna only as a deity form because he has accepted the material elements to manifest before my eyes. Then Antaryami means actually super soul, somebody sitting in the heart. So this is the next step of realization. Then you can understand Vilasa forms. Lila avatars, all called different, expansions of Krishna. Vyuhas, these are these Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha forms. They have different mood, even different mood. They are very powerful. But then there is Paratattva, absolute truth, which is Krishna. Sri Vaishnavas, they say that actually Krishna comes from Narayan. He's just, and the way the reason I speak about this is this, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya talks about Krishna's different forms, complete or perfect, more perfect, and most perfect. Krishna manifests himself in Mathura, Dwaraka, and Raj. So, and he's most perfect in Vṛndāvana, in Raj. In Mathura and Dwaraka, there is perfect and more perfect. So the way, I mean, the point is that like Lord Ramachandra, he is described with much sweeter poems than Lord Nṛsiṁha, because he manifests much more sweetness. So that's why this is he's Lord Ramachandra stands, step above. But Krishna manifests just total sweetness and beauty. And he doesn't need to manifest any power or anything. His power is just his beauty and his attraction, his sweetness, his love for devotees. I mean, this is something which only Krishna has in that form. This is so unique, so unique. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, the reason I talk about him so much, because I love him so much. But then I translate his books as well from English. He says that Lord Vishnu sometimes is, he's kind of proud of being the supreme. But Krishna doesn't care. He's just a boy. He's just this Nanda. He's just a little boy. Then Krishna's different ages in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that chapter, it is described. Lord Chaitanya talks about Balya, this is childhood, then boyhood, which is Pauganda, and then Kaishora, which is youth. So, and they are sweeter and sweeter, these forms as well. So lots of this whole science about forms of Krishna. Mayavadis say that Krishna has no form, he has no legs, he has no eyes, he cannot, whatever, he cannot walk, he cannot talk. This is nonsense. So, yeah. Therefore, they are atheists because they kill Krishna. Some people say there is no God. Well, Mayavadis say indirectly, even more, at least atheists, they deny God without, they don't play anything. They don't, without duplicity, they say, we are atheists, we don't care about God. But Mayavadis, they are not so good. They are really, really bad. These Bhagavatāmṛta books are just, this is scientific, very scientific. I was thinking, the way Goswamis wrote books, they did not have libraries, they did not have any computers, any encyclopedias, anything. But they are using so many quotes from all kinds of books, all kinds of scriptures. How could they do that? I have no idea. This is just totally amazing, because they have this, just like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, his intellectual abilities are just beyond any imagination. He could quote, passages and without any mistake. He could do that. So, you have to see how much he wrote. A lot of books. Letters, you take letters, it's just very long. I don't think he had any dictaphone. I really don't think so. So he didn't have, of course, he was probably writing. His handwriting was just so light, so wonderful, just like Śrīla Prabhupāda's. You've seen, his signatures and handwriting just like pearls. Just wonderful, just ornaments. Yeah. Well, I was reading the other day, about, there was written something about Śrīla Prabhupāda's horoscope. It was said that, if anybody tries to understand his horoscope, he's wrong. Nobody can find out what this is all about, because nobody, it's just so beyond. You cannot comment on it. Just this personality is just totally independent, comes and goes whenever he wants, and whatever he does is not within the grasp of human mind. So that's why his horoscope cannot be interpreted. So these are the acharyas. These are these wonderful personalities who are not different from Krishna. So, any questions, dear friends? Any comments? Anything to add? Yes.
Prabhu, I have a question. Thank you so much for your wonderful.
Thank you.
So, in the 10th canto, I'm sorry, not the 10th canto, the canto where, Prahlad is blessed by Nṛsiṁhadeva.
Yeah, 7th canto. Yeah, yeah.
So, he says, I want my father to attain liberation, and Nṛsiṁhadeva says, of course, 10,000 generations ahead and, behind you will be liberated.
Yeah.
So I just want to understand this apparent contradiction, what you said,
Yeah.
and what Lord Nṛsiṁhadeva's promise.
Yeah. Hiranyakashipu had a mission to fulfill. He had to be born as Ravana and then Shishupal and be killed there, because this was the idea. Jaya Vijaya came down from the Vaikuntha just to fulfill the wish of the Lord. He wanted to fight with someone. And his devotees had to do that. When pure devotees family, well, again, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he says, Kanishthatikāris, one generation will be delivered. Madhyamatikāri, 7 generations, both sides. And Uddamatikāri, 100 generations. So, well, it doesn't mean that everyone just goes back to Godhead like that. They get the very good opportunity, all the opportunities. They will eventually go there. Mukunda, Dada, Lord Chaitanya's great devotee. He liked to associate with all kinds of people. He was very social. And he's a pure devotee. He's from spiritual world. But he would sometimes go to talk to, listen to Mayavadis. He didn't really care, of course. So Lord Chaitanya punished him. He said, you should never come to me. He should never come to me. He goes and talks to Mayavadis. Then, Mukunda was just about to die. And he asked the devotees, please ask him, when can I see him again? The Lord Chaitanya said, after 1 million births. When Mukunda heard this, he was totally ecstasy. He said, I will see Lord Chaitanya after 1 million births. So and Lord Chaitanya said, bring him here immediately. So patience is important. So it will come. But this case with Hiranyakashipu is very special, of course. But the idea is that unless normally it's only Krishna. And Krishna, why? Because he enters the mind of these people, demons, because they are so much absorbed in him, and they become purified. But they don't achieve more than liberation. But actually, in reality, there are stories where actually they really became like associates later. But yeah, so they got more than just Sayuja Mukti. Yes, it's okay. Anything else? I think it's time to greet the deities. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Lord Nṛsiṁha, Ki Jai, Bhagavan Shri Nṛsiṁha, Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.